All right, guys, let's talk about size. Not your problem area, AJ. But engines. Does it matter? V6, 4-cylinder, 8-cylinder, V10. Personally, it's about the driver and power to weight ratio. That's just my opinion.
Doesn't matter for what? What are we talking about here exactly?
Speed. Racing.
Speed?
Oh, fuck me.
I don't know.
Cars are meant to go fast, right? So we're talking about
Some cars are.
speed.
Well, muscle cars. So I mean, let's start off with the Mustang. So the S550, any Mustang.
Mustangs aren't muscle
So what's
cars.
your opinion of someone rolling in a Mustang, and it's not a V8? I mean, do you look at it? Do you look down on them because they're not a V8? Do you look at them? Why didn't you buy a V8?
I wouldn't be able to drive a muscle car. No disrespect to anybody who has an EcoBoost or a V6, but I couldn't drive a muscle car if it wasn't a V8. The muscle car is known for the V8 engine, that rumble that it gives, the American muscle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why I bought that car. I couldn't get a V6 or a 4-cylinder.
I would say I'd have the same thing. If I see someone with a V6 or a V4, it's like,
I feel personally.
it's like, why? And then they always come back, well, we're better in gas, or something like that. But if I was gonna buy an American muscle car, it would definitely be a V8. I mean, you want to catch me in an EcoBoost or a V6. And like I said, no offense, same thing that you said. No offense to anybody that has them, but it's like, why would you buy the lesser car when you could get the V8? I don't know.
As far as car enthusiasts, I would say.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's somebody who wants to buy a convertible, cruise down the beach, whatever, they don't really care.
Or you can rent one. Yeah, you can rent. You can rent a V6 or EcoBoost. I mean, that's where I think those cars, are their popularity is. But you see people with, these EcoBoosts, and then they get an EcoBoost, and then they think they're super fast. So what's up with that? Why would you buy an EcoBoost against a V8? I mean, and try to be the fast guy. If you were gonna buy a EcoBoost, why don't you just drive your EcoBoost and be cool? But no, now they think they can beat the V8s.
They can though. I've seen it.
Well,
I've never lost
to
to an EcoBoost
because I don't race, so that's
Oh,
yeah.
At the track either.
Yeah.
Any track.
I feel personally attacked.
Good.
Well,
you know what?
Well, why did you buy the V6 and not a V8?
I bought a V6 because it was cheaper
Okay.
by like 15 grand.
But you're being honest, right?
But
You're being honest and saying it was cheaper.
So,
But what about the guys that say, "Oh, I bought it for economy," or and then they try to be fast? Yeah.
I just think a lot of people think, I mean, they're making that decision financially, but at the end they regret it and they wish they got a V8. And that's probably something that 99% of the people end up regretting. Like, they wish they bought a V8.
because they put all that money into it to try to make it as fast as a V8.
Not even that. I think just hearing that sound turning on your car, like, I think it just makes you want a V8 no matter what. Because when you get into your car, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'll give you a personal experience. I had a Lexus before, right? A 2014 IS F Sport. I wanted to get the ISF, but the same thing. I was like, you know what? Why am I gonna get
Yeah,
the
why would you
ISF?
do that? And then you
Let me
regret
just
it
Get
later.
a new car. Obviously the ISF is freaking expensive. But as soon as I got it, it's like, shit, I should have got the fucking ISF. Like, I should have just done it. That's why I ended up upgrading to the Mustang, because I had the V8. But it's something that personally, I bought the 6-cylinder thinking it didn't matter, and a couple years later, I'm just like, nah, I need to get a V8.
I was in a weird situation because I wanted a daily, so I got the V6 Camaro because I was like, I love Camaros. I have a V8, I have a V6, and now I have a 4-cylinder. So I have all 3 cars. But I do know, a month after I got the V6, I wanted a V8.
See?
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I should have got the V8, but now I'm glad I didn't, honestly.
Because you can't handle it.
I had a V8! I can tell people that. That was a nice car.
What do you think, Sunshine?
Well,
You're quiet over there.
I'm quiet for a number of reasons. The V8 driver in me wants to agree and just blow V6s and i4s out the fucking water. I don't give a fuck about those cars. But At the same time,
Oh my
the
God.
car enthusiast in me wants to keep an open mind about people's reasoning for why they get what they get.
Yeah.
Because I know plenty of people who do get an EcoBoost for the reason that they do want to make it a race car, but they don't want the financial burden of a V8. And when I say that, I mean like fuel economy and all this and the other. You know, granted, an EcoBoost, and then this is specific to Mustangs. You know, an EcoBoost doesn't have the best fuel economy either, right? But when you're taking a 4-cylinder turbocharged motor versus a V8, I mean, you're talking about 25 miles to the gallon, maybe up to 30 miles to the gallon, versus a V8's maybe 14, 15, if that. So in that realm, there is a realism there, you know. But I don't know, man. It's just, if we're talking about strictly muscle cars, and this is why I'm a little hard here, because I don't know if we're specifically talking about muscle cars or just cars in general. Because
Yeah, that's true.
when it comes to muscle cars, you know, yeah, part of me is like, it's not really a muscle car
It is, though.
if it doesn't have
It is,
if it doesn't have the
though.
muscle car heart.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
No, it is though.
No,
If
I
you
know what
go
you're about to
online-
say.
Everybody go online to the dictionary.com and type in muscle car.
Well, that's
It
the other
doesn't
thing.
specify
That's the other thing.
engine
Is
size.
the definition of a V8 of a muscle car? What exactly is that? Because
Right.
when I think of a muscle car, I think of like a '60s Challenger, maybe a '60s Camaro, '60s Mustang. I think like that old school muscle car. I look at our cars. I don't consider my Mustang to be a muscle car just
a
because
pony
it's a
car.
V8. I consider it to be a sports car. One, because it's a world car. It was released around the world at the same time. Yeah, it's got a V8, a V6, and an i4, but it's so refined that it almost loses that muscle car sort of charm. You know, because when you think of a muscle car, you think solid rear axle, you think scary, you think big, fat, bulky American. The Mustang is not that.
I mean, it can be.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, it's not your typical definition of a muscle car, but in our times, it is. It's not a muscle car. Like you said, it's kind of a cross between a
It's not
muscle
a
car
classic muscle
and
car.
a sports car. But I think my thing is, just with people, with the cars, like, you have your Camaro. Did you modify your exhaust?
Yes.
Why? Get that V8 sound?
No, hell no.
No?
I wasn't one of those people
Well,
that came
I
in and
mean,
was like, I want to
I-
sound like a V8. No, I
Yeah,
really
but-
wasn't. I learned my lesson online. I saw the people making the mistake and I learned from it.
But I think there's two definitions. So I'm not crumbing on, like the V6s and the V4s as people that drive regular cars, what would you call them?
You called it a V4, it's
Well,
an i4.
oh,
If he
yeah,
said it's a
i4.
V4,
Oh.
it's a V4, bro.
Okay.
Let it roll. Let it roll. See, I got your back too.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Max.
But on the same token, if you're buying a car and you're trying to represent speed, that's fine. I mean, the EcoBoosts can be fast, the V6s can be fast, but I there's a big old thing on IG, maybe a couple months back about someone in a head turners club that he thought we were making fun of him because he has a V6, which we weren't. We're just talking like we're talking now. We're talking about V8s and V6s, and he took offense, but he says it was for economy and this and that, and it's my car, I should be able to do what you want. That's fine, but these are the opinions of people like me. When I see a V6 or a V8 and you start putting tire letters on it and trying to make your car look fast or represent or even put a false badge on it, that's where I have a problem.
And I think that's where the regret shows, where they kind of want to make it look like it's something else with the budget of something else. Like if you can't buy a fucking V8, then you can't buy a V8. It's simple. But I think
I don't know.
for the topic of it being an American car, American muscle, it has to have a V8.
Yeah, that's
No?
what I think.
You don't
Yeah,
think so?
yeah.
No.
Now
Yeah.
for speed, on topics of speed or car being fast, I don't
Any
give a
car
shit what
can,
engine it
any
has.
car can be fast.
Anything can be fast, exactly. My Turbo Civic was faster than my Mustang.
I'm of the opinion that all the cars we have are pony cars.
Okay, well,
Dodge.
what's the difference between a pony car and a muscle car? That's where I need clarification because I'm a little confused right now.
I think you describe it best as a sports car
Right?
versus a muscle
It
car.
because
Right.
like pony car, sports car, and then like muscle car, all of them have very similar definitions, but none of them specifically say V8.
Well, I think that's what
Yeah.
should be defined, because that's where people get confused. I think that's where I'm confused.
I think people should just let it go.
What's a pony car?
Yeah, what's a pony car? Because I've never heard of that term.
You never heard of pony car?
No,
Let me make sure.
don't Google search it, because
I'm not Google searching it. No, my man. Jeez.
Because
No, because the funny thing is, before we started doing this, I actually got in a argument with one of my friends on the
topic.
on this topic, and I was
Because
like,
it doesn't make sense to call a Camaro or a Challenger a pony car. I mean, does that name only pertain to the Mustang because its logo is a pony? Is that where it comes from?
I think pony car is for Mustang.
It is,
I
right?
think. And then muscle car is just for all of them.
I went and I got like everything.
Because I get why people would call our cars today muscle cars, because it's the only one that historically has been a muscle car. When you look at like the 60s, yeah, you had a Camaro, you had a Challenger, you had a Charger, you had a Mustang, sure, right? But does that definition follow it to where it's at today?
Okay, here we go. I'm giving you the dictionary public definition of American muscle car. Any group of American-made two-door sports cars with powerful engines designed for high performance.
Keyword.
Powerful engines.
Powerful.
A V6 is not a
My
powerful
car-
engine.
my
Most
car has
supercars
more-
are V6s, though.
Those are not American cars though.
American cars.
Ford
I'm talking
GT?
about American muscle.
Powerful.
Now,
You don't
No,
look.
but do you count that as American muscle though? That's like
No,
a
it's not
supercar.
American muscle, but it is American.
I don't. Yeah, it's American, but you know.
The Viper?
The
That had a
Viper,
V10.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying,
did you
that's a bigger
see
engine.
all the shit that came down with that one though? That car's not selling very well. That truck's not selling very well because one, they turned it into an EcoBoost, and
Raptor?
it's a truck. It's a truck. People want a V8 truck.
What truck?
The
Raptor.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Ram. Because they put a V10 in the Ram too at one point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought you brought up the Raptor, but the Raptor, that's another thing. That's why the sales went down because truck people, they wanted, they want a V8. They don't want.
You buy a muscle car for the power.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what a pony car is.
Yeah, tell us what a pony car is, because that's why I'm confused.
Most pony cars were available with more powerful engines and performance packages, even enough to propel some into the muscle car realm. The vast majority were sold with 6-cylinder engines or ordinary V8s. So technically, by this definition, just a GT would be considered a pony car, or just a V8 is considered a pony car.
Huh.
There's like no online definition
So
that's like
basically it didn't solve my
anything.
conundrum here, because
No.
I'm still a little confused.
This is always going to be a topic
Now V8 with the exhaust.
from the past to now, more so now.
What I did take away from that definition was that pony car was one step below muscle car.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what I took away from that definition.
Because it's a pony.
No, it's probably
It's a little pony. That's why the V6s and the EcoBoosts have the
Have a
little
pony?
horse on the back, because they're little ponies. That's why I call them.
See, like I could totally like a GT350. I think that's an American muscle car. But somebody who's like, oh, I got a Mustang GT. I mean, yeah, by definition it could be a muscle car, but by the online published definition of American muscle car, so is my car. So, because I mean, the powerful engine, my car has more horsepower than most on-the-road cars that there is today. Granted, I still get my ass handed to me
I will
often,
say,
but
if we take your car as it is today and compare it to a V8 from like 10 years ago,
oh
you
yeah,
can probably beat it.
exactly.
You know what
That's
I'm saying?
that's another thing is like the V6, power is still faster than a lot of the V8s from back in the day. So,
I think probably it's not the speed, it's not the horsepower. I think it's just the sound of a V8 motor, that cold start, and I think that's what it is. That's what it is for me. If I couldn't buy, say, a GT Mustang, and I had to settle for like an EcoBoost, which they're still almost as much money. They're pretty pricey.
yeah.
I'd probably, if I was gonna go that route and get a car with a V6 motor or a 4-cylinder, it would probably be a different kind of car. It wouldn't be a Mustang or Camaro. It might be a Lexus, Mercedes, BMW, something like that. That's just me. But if I'm gonna drive a car that, is, like a Camaro, Ford, Challengers, I would not be caught driving, a V6. Thank you for watching this episode of Shit Talking. If you like what we're doing, Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about in our future episodes, please do not forget to go to theenginebays.com and submit.